And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 3,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher level of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, and Georgia specifically, and in addition, we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States. trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our NOSWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of the antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And also we pray for good radio conditions, and we also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has mini-nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Give us a shout. Alpha India 4 Charlie Oscar, AI4CO.
Charlie Oscar, is that a Roger?
Charlie Oscar, is that a Roger?
This is KC9VKV, Alpha India 4 Charlie Oscar, is that a Roger?
Charlie Oscar, is that a Roger? QSL, AI4CO, correct.
Okay, sir, can you tell me where you are?
Okay, sir, can you tell me where you are? Say again?
What's your location, sir? What is your location?
What's your location, sir? What is your location? My QTH is Tallahassee, Florida. Tallahassee, Florida.
Ah, Roger, Roger, and what's the name there?
Roger, Roger, and what's the name there? The name is Randy. Romeo Alpha November Delta Yankee. Randy.
Copy that as Randy. Is that a Roger?
Copy that as Randy. Is that a Roger? QSL, yes, Randy.
Roger, Randy, and you're down in Florida. And what radio are you running today, Randy?
What radio are you running today, Randy? I'm on an Elecraft KX3 running 15 watts.
Roger, well, that's probably why I only have barely a copy on you on the my Georgia SDR. My other 4 SDRs do not have you at all. My local antenna, I don't think has you. Come back and tell me about your antenna system, and let me check out my local antenna, Roger.
And let me check out my local antenna, Roger. Okay, I'm running an inverted V. It's basically a quarter wave on 40 meters.
Roger, Randy. I only copy you on my Georgia SDR, sir. Yeah, that's a KX3. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, that's a KX3. Is that a Roger? A KX3, Kilo X-ray 3 transceiver from Elecraft.
Yes, sir, Roger. KX3, Roger. I thought I said that, but anyway, the first thing would be to be sure that you were in that the widest transmit bandwidth that you can be in. Hopefully that would be in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Is that a Roger? 2900 transmit bandwidth. Is that a Roger?
Yes, it's set up for whatever the standard bandwidth is. It's not set up for widebanding or the enhanced band.
Well, you see, Randy, what happens is when you operate in less than 100 to 2900, you start rolling off the top end of your audio. And that's so critical as far as the articulation. When you lose the top end by going to those lesser bandwidths, you start losing your articulation. So folks can't hear you as clear, and that's doubly important for, a QRP station, Roger, Roger. A QRP station, Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. And there's nothing I can do about it right now unless I delve down into the menu and make some changes.
Yes, sir. Well, just take note. Just take note. You want to be on that wider transmit bandwidth, and sometimes QRP stations have to kind of throw the book away as far as mic level and kind of run pretty hot in order to be heard, because they're definitely at a disadvantage in QRP land because of so many adverse conditions that you have to traverse, Roger. Adverse conditions that you have to traverse, Roger.
Oh, Roger, Roger, I know all that, so thank you very, very much.
Jim, is that you?
Come back station.
Come back station.
I'd like an audio and a health and welfare report.
Oh, my goodness there. Well, Lou, what's going on?
Oh, my goodness there. Well, Lou, what's going on?
My name's not Lou. I stole that some business radio equipment.
I see how you are. Well, I was down there talking to Randy, who was QRP down in Florida, and he was, knew that he was having to exert maybe some additional pressure in his modulation department to be heard, but, I don't know.
Department to be heard, but, I don't know.
Got a question for you. Do you ever read your damn comments?
Oh, yes. From time to time. Sometimes YouTube is not forthcoming with those, but I usually do when I get them.
Well, you need to read them because I'm getting tired of sending you messages. I'm sending you messages after messages on eBay, on AOL. For some reason or other, I'm being blocked from you.
My goodness. Well, I'll double check and see what's going on. Are you out at the farm?
I'll double check and see what's going on. Are you out at the farm?
I'm at the farm, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, you're doing pretty good. How much you doing?
Hey, but you won't hear me anymore.
Yes, sir. Well, you're doing pretty good. How much you doing?
I'm doing 3 kilowatts.
All right. Well, gosh, I'd expect my antenna to be burnt down by now.
Nah, I'm doing right at 3 kilowatts. I've got a 4 kilowatt LDMOS. You need to get on Facebook or QRZ and see all those beautiful pictures I posted up there.
Yes, sir. Lou is incidentally my Elmer, and he's the only guy I know of that runs 3 kW into a 5 kW dummy load. 3 kW into a 5 kW dummy load. Well, I'm only kidding.
Bad noise from an underground transformer.
Well, I'm only kidding.
Next to the house. It's real dirty. They're going to come out and fix it.
I'm sorry, we doubled on some of that. Come back and repeat your last comment.
Did you hear what I said?
That's why I asked you to repeat. We doubled.
You must be talking.
That's why I asked you to repeat. We doubled.
Who did?
We did. Who else is there?
We did. Who else is there? Nobody else.
All right, I just went to my local antenna. We're going to get rid of some of this garbage. Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. I'm going through the Georgia repeater system.
Well, I was to hear the guy down there in Florida. But for you, I'll make a special exception and go through my local antenna, which you sound a whole lot better with much less latency.
Oh, really? You're going to put me on YouTube?
Well, I guess, unless there's a problem.
There's no problem. You got my full attention. And by the way, you got 2 YouTube videos of me and you talking, and I love hearing that 100-amp contactor go wham!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, listen, we probably have about 80 to 100 Qso-Vlogs, somewhere around there.
I'm trying to find my glasses. I cannot find my glasses. Are you telling me Half Moon Bay or Georgia's not hearing me? Is that what you're telling me, just to stay away from the internet right now?
I don't know. I don't check with Half Moon Bay in the daytime. I might rock in there at night, but I don't consult with Half Moon Bay in the daytime, Roger. I can just barely hear myself in the daytime out in California on Half Moon Bay. And if you're looking for your glasses, it's that glass that's half full of muscatel. Hello. Why, here's a man's been stolen by gypsies. N9, GTO, KC9VKV. Leaving me in the lurch, good buddy. You must have hit your VFO. Must not have been in the locked mode and hit your VFO, and you're somewhere around 7,200.
I'm sorry, Jim. I did not hear you. My VFO took off on me.
That's what I just said. There's a lock on that radio. Put it on.
Whereabouts is the lock?
Well, what? I thought you was running your 7,300. I don't know on other ones.
I'm looking. I'm automatically looking. No, this is the 781 or 785. I'm sorry.
Oh, Roger. Well, just work the microphone. Don't work the radio. Don't touch the radio, and you'll stay on frequency. Maybe.
Well, the oscilloscope says I'm doing very well on my peaks, everything. And by the way, this is a RE27 microphone.
Yeah, Roger. Hey, well, you got a thing to check my skirts? I'm just curious about my skirts.
I'm working on that, Jimmy. Some reason or another, we're dead. Oh, I know why we're dead. Hold on. I'm working on that, Jimmy. Let me look up here in this TV. I believe I see each other now. This is what I'm hearing, and this is what I'm seeing. So, hold on a minute. I know there's a you-know-what in the what pile. Hold on, Jimmy. I'm in the process of... let me start the recording for you. I'm letting this... I can go on the internet through my phone. I love that. Wife gets so mad at me. Oh, the wife don't like that at all. Jimmy, I'm trying... Oh, there it is. Hold on, Jimmy. I'm trying. Oh, we're dead. Oh, no wonder. No wonder. Jimmy, hold on just a minute. I think we're dead in the water. Just give me a standby here. Where am I? Okay, let's see what I can do here. All right, Jimmy. Yeah, we're light on SDR, K3FEF. We're live everywhere. But let me hear you. Come on back and I'll videotape this radio and email it to you.
All right, sir. I'm here, I guess. I'm not really sure. Sometimes I get very confused when I talk to you.
I get confused a lot. When we're in there working on amplifiers, and arguing with each other at the kitchen table, I'm in heaven.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over a bad AC plug, as I recall.
Well, not over. I don't know what it was over, but I'll tell you one thing we did. We got the thing fixed, did we not? Well, it was a socket that needed to be changed out, and I have 40 sockets. You're going to have to come over and go through these tubes, Jenny. I'm a little scared. I think we're going to have to use the AL80B to test one tube at a time. The mills, everything, you name it, I gotta have to do everything, because Jimmy, it's not a good idea, not at all, for just plugging it into that heat kit. And if we got a shorted tube, now we got to go through. I mean, we could use the hell out of them if you want to on the B-, B+. If you're all up to that, I'll be glad to do that for you. But I want to get that thing rocking and rolling like it used to, Jimmy. Something happens to me and I pass away, you know you're in trouble, because the wife's going to tell, come and get all this junk.
Yes, sir. Well, that's what my wife said. Come get this junk before I pass away.
Jimmy, I believe you're going to outlive all of us. You look good. I mean, you're talking about, you know what I mean? I think you're going to outlive us all, Jimmy. I really do. For some reason or another, I don't know why, but Half Moon Bay, K3FEF, is really not in good shape. Jimmy, the lag time is unreal, and we don't have the conditions that I would normally have with the situation here. So, Jim, tell me about your last couple of weeks of being on the radio and having all kinds of good time with all the Good Time Gang. How many per videos have you produced, over?
We average somewhere around 10 a week or so. We bust up that hour and a half Qso-Vlog and break out individual transmissions by call sign. So if I didn't do that, nobody would have their call signs on YouTube. They would never be able to find it, because I just logged the long one as a Qso-Vlog. And no call signs. So the only way they get individual call signs is when I break them out of that hour and a half show, Roger.
Jimmy, I know I'm giving you maximum output. I can go to the moon and back, but for some reason or another, K3FEF is not in there today. I was told today's a really horrible day for conditions. Can you verify that, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sometimes Milford is not as good as other times. But, I'm running 5 SDRs, so I can tell immediately when things are down the river, because sometimes all 5 are down the river at the same time. But a lot of times it's just it moves around, even in the same QSO. When it starts to fade out or something, I just move over to another SDR and run the SDRs and find out what's hot and what's not.
Wow, that's a statement and a half. Got me a new iPhone watch, Jimmy, and I go through my Anon and with my 4 LDMOSs, and I haven't figured out how to change all the frequencies just right. But I have to call the old man because the wife won't let me put up anything. I'm in the radio room today and got these mini splits running. Electric bill used to be $289 a month. Now it's only $95 a month, and I got 2 years of electric bills to prove to you.
Roger. Now, when you start getting money back from the electric company, you know you're doing something right.
They refuse, and the families refuse. Now, Zach does have solar. He's got a big bank of batteries in his garage. He's getting ready to buy him a new Tesla. I'm totally against it. And my father-in-law's totally against it. He's totally unhappy with what's going on with... It's a bad situation. And my youngest son is over the estate. And my father-in-law is bumping heads with him. They're not really sure who, what, when, and where. Over?
Oh, roger that. Well, for why?
The old man doesn't believe in new technology. He can show you the numbers. You don't realize You're going to pay 30 grand for all your roof is going to, your roof's got to come off every 30 years, whether you like it or not, unless you go with that terracotta, something like that. So that's 150 grand. But there's no roofing materials good for 30 years or better. And they put all these solar cells on top of the front of the house and back of the house. It looks like garbage.
Yes, sir. Now, not to change the subject or nothing, but I have a certain thing that I have composed for my Elmer that I had pulled off talking about until my Elmer joined me, and I thought he was going to join me a lot sooner than now, but better now than never. So it's time for another thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. This segment, Ode to My Elmer. This poem is called Ode to My Elmer, who always treats me right. Ode to my Elmer, who might call me in the middle of the night. Hey, Elmer, what's wrong with my amp? It won't come on. Hey, Elmer, I know it's late, but I can't get this mic cord to mate. Yeah, I know sometimes I might be a pain, but who else do I know that can make it rain? Because my Elmer is magic, and he's never wrong. He can't take a sick radio, while he can take a sick radio and make it sing a song. For I've seen this for myself. With his Midas touch, he just lays a hand on my radio, and in 5 minutes it's fixed, and we're having lunch. I owe everything I know to my Elmer. He's made me who I am. He's guided my direction and helped me be a better ham. His teaching is superb, even though I'm a slow learner. He takes his time because I tend to put things on the back burner. Yes, this is a little ode to my Elmer, of whom I cannot say enough. He always offers a helping hand when the going gets tough. He helped me with my power supply when my voltage dropped to 0. A few new diodes here and a filter cap there, thanks to my Elmer's fix, 'cause I don't have a spare. Thank you, Elmer, for shining a light of hope in my moment of utter despair. Again, Elmer, thanks for being there. This has been Ode to My Elmer, a helping friend along the way, a guy who knows all the answers and more I cannot say. So I shall end this ode the best I can. Simply put, thank you, Elmer. You're the man. This has been another thrilling edition of Adventures in Radioland. This segment, Ode to My Elmer.
Well, thank you, Jim. I greatly appreciate that. I had to listen to me after all the years since 1970, of all the years I've been giving so much. A young child at a graveyard. Oh my God. With people having sniper rifles on a certain man's house, because I had an oscillator on my bicycle with a big old 110 steel. Jim, I was 6 years old, and they were using me to do their dirty deeds done dirt cheap. We had a child molester on the amateur radio bands, and he had to go. They knew what to do and told me, let's go. With big ribs and barbecue chips in hand, I drove my 20-inch Swin over to the graveyard and put it to the man. They were hoping he'd come out because Mr. 6 cubicle quad on top of where McDonald's is now, Mr. Smith himself, the electrician, had a sniper rifle looking, and he had old Bus Benfield, who was an amateur operator, had his sniper rifle looking, and they were all snipers in the tree. And they were just waiting for somebody to come after me. What say you, Jim? And yes, you had to pass it on, Jim. You had to pass it on. It's all in my book, and you'll get to edit that book. It's a real interesting book. Simon and Schuster is already in the good looks of everything. I got about 900 hours of audio, which is being condensed to a book. So I'm beating somebody else to what they want to do. They showed me how to do it, and who to do, and who to do. So back to you, Elmer. I'm your Elmer. There we go. Even though there's a little age difference of 14 years, not bad. 13, 12, whatever it is. It might be more than that. Wait a minute now. I think it's 34 years difference. I was only 7 when I met you at the radio. Well, no. Yeah, I was only 7 when I drove my bike up and get to meet the man behind the Maniac station wagon. Well, that was a great deal. Be careful, Elmer, or I'm the Elmer. Be careful, old man. I'm liable to write a book, but I have good things to say about you in the book as well. Only thing we're lacking is doing dinner. And I hate to say this, but my wife only lets you come around. Nobody else. There's got to be a key story behind that one. Oh, boy. Woo. The crazy people I used to run around with, the wife put an end and all that, and I'm running an all-band vertical in the woods with hardline buried under the thing. When she gets home, I'm off the radio. What say you, Elmer? Or, I'm the Elmer. Go ahead. I'm talking 900 mile an hour a minute, trying to get 40, you know what, in a 10-pound box. Take it over, young man.
Roger. Sometimes within, I thought you were talking to yourself. But listen, seriously, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I wouldn't be here without my Elmer's help in many different ways, equipment-wise, manpower-ways, brain-ways, all kinds of ways. So, Elmer, thank you very much, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and don't be a stranger, Roger.
Roger. Wow. Somebody has stolen my name and posted something on here. I didn't post this. Oh, my God. I can't believe somebody did this. Let me see. Oh, I know what happened. Someone has capitalized on my name. Uh-oh. They just changed the Lou and GTO spelling a little differently, and they get to get their own Facebook account. What say you, old man?
Well, Roger, I don't believe in Facebook, Roger.
I don't believe it either, but hold on here. Let me check over and see what's going on. I use it to stay on top of all my friends. I really do. And yes, there's something typed in here as if it was me. I'm not very happy about it. But anyway, I met a man the other day who is 305, the real Dave Pastors. As an engineer and of medical equipment all his life. He's well known up in the northeast corner of New Jersey as the Dave Maid. What say about that, old man?
Roger, I don't think I know that individual.
He's a solid state. He's the one that brought the box to me, the 4 LDMOSs. He brought it to me. He flew in from Stanford Field and came up here with a rent-a-car and surprised me, and I wrote a check for it.
Roger.
Very, very nice guy. He confused to lose a few pounds. I fed him like you wouldn't believe, like I've always done. But it's 4:07. I think we're going to take this segment all the way to 5 o'clock because we can definitely do it between me and you. If there's anybody else who would like to get their audio check, would like to talk to the great Dr. VKV, please come in now. Now look, all you people that's getting your popcorn and you're sneaking in the back door to watch the theater, come on, give me your call sign. Jim wants to... I hear no one, Jim.
Yeah, Roger, some days are like that. Some days I just, have to go fishing, I guess.
Jim, would you like to go fishing?
Sometimes that happens, when you have a real light turnout, rather than keep on keeping on. If there's nobody there, then you just go fishing. It's just that simple.
Well, Jim, my Harley Davidson's up for sale. I'm looking at something very nice. It has less than 5,000 miles on it. I own one of these. It's a 1977 KZ1000, a Z model, red with black stripes. I'd never let anybody ride on the back of it with me. But Jim, in my day, I could ride a Willie all the way up the hill there, going up the hill from New Albany to the top of the exit for Spring Street. And yes, I ran around with the Screaming Eagles over in Louisville on the Shawnee Expressway, and it's $500 per bike, and who wins gets to take the money home. And I never did win because Bill, one-armed Bill, got me every time. Over.
Roger that.
Yeah, Bill's the real deal. Now, see, I know his middle name, and I call him by his middle name, and boy, that gets people looking at me kind of funny. Bill used to live out in Newburgh, and I always made sure that he had plenty of coax, plenty of antennas and stuff. He was on the radio in the Super Bowl.
Roger, did he have a call sign?
Yes, he does, and I cannot disclose it at this time.
Roger, Roger. He's a member of Alphabet City?
No, and he can't letter and half it with me either. So motive B, he doesn't understand what that means, and I was once before, and I'm no longer. So that's how that is. My son-in-law just bought a brand new plane, the 2011 Cessna 162 Skycatcher. It's a experimental plane, but a very unique plane, I must say. I wonder, it is a trike, by the way, and he got it for $23,000. Unbelievable.
Roger, that's over my head. I'm not familiar with that.
Well, he's a UPS pilot, and my daughter's getting ready to retire, and they're moving down to Destin, Florida. He's going to use this plane to fly back and forth to his mom and dad's.
Roger that.
Now, my daughter's been with this company, I won't say the name, been there since she was 18 years old, and she's the assistant to the vice president. She loves her job, and they told her she can do it over the internet. Come in twice a year, they'll pay for everything, or she could do everything over the internet. You can't ask for a blessing like that.
Well, yeah, provided she's got some decent equipment. Sometimes, computer from home is nice if you have the right stuff that doesn't error out a lot and cause you adversity in trying to work. Roger?
Are you using your 7300 microphone?
I'm using my house mic like normal into my 7300.
You love your 7300?
Oh, yeah. Well, I run the 990 every once in a while. I actually, there's a lot about the 990 that I like better than the 7300, but I run both. I run the 990 just to blow the cobwebs out from time to time.
Jim, how that flash I bought it new. And see, I bought the FT1000. I should have never done that. I traded my 920 with all the filters for an FT1000 Mark V. Now, I do have that here, and you're more than welcome to get it anytime you want. It's 200-watt radio, but there's a problem. I think the battery is dead in the memory. It'll probably take you a while, but you're more than welcome to come and get it. Jimmy, there's a problem. The VFO turns, and the up and down thing turns for sideband, but none of the buttons do any beeping anymore, and it doesn't. I don't know what happened. But if you have any room over there for the FT1000 Mark V, please advise me, because I would like to park it.
Oh, roger that. Well, I'll take it under consideration. I'm pretty good fixed for radios right at the moment. That, like I say, I've got the 7300, which I think is just a beautiful radio, and then back up on the FT990, the modified, so. It's hard to need more radios, but I'll give it consideration, Roger.
Well, I paid $3,000 for it. There's no filters in it, Jim. My wife is not happy with me at all. Went to the ham station one time. He wanted my 706 Mark II-G, which I still have one. I had two of them, actually. The great radios on AM, they rock. 6 kilohertz wide. Factory stock. They talk like no other talks. I wish you had a radio over there with a flat dude 8 kcs wide on AM, because you have no idea. I've got several Viking Valiants, several Rangers. You have no idea what I'd give to get you on AM.
Roger, I'd be hard pressed to get on AM. It's just not quiet enough. Now, if it's professional AM broadcast, I've been there 50K, nice and quiet around the world.
Well, Jimmy, I can arrange that for you.
Well, I've already experienced that 50 years. Well, for the last 10 years of my professional life at HAS, 50 KW, you're around the world at night.
You mean the last 9 years of your life?
Well, somewhere in there, Roger.
I just got a thing from my laptop telling me to update. It's going to do it here in 57 seconds. Something about the BIOS cannot be programmed because the system is not connected to external power. Oh, let me hook it up. Hold on. Jimmy, I had a bad thing happen here a while back. The other day it was raining, and Gracie was upset, hollering, she needed backup on the house. I walked out to the deck, and I have my brother-in-law gives me these beautiful, made in China, these flippers. Jim, you think you're walking on air. They don't weigh nothing, and they're absolutely unbelievable. So I walk out there, and I did not know the tread was gone off these China shoes. Down the third step, I go airborne, crack a rib in the back. Black and blue all over. Head got a little knot on it, you name it. Somehow or another, I felt the power to get up and grab Gracie and kick those shoes off and walk back up in my socks. Over?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, bud.
Don't be sorry for me. I'm just glad it wasn't you.
Yeah, me too. You have to be very careful, particularly on wet wood. We just did a whole bunch of pressure washing around here to guard against that. We redid our deck and a bunch of the areas around our house. And I did deal with wheels. I got a couple of pairs of wheels and put my pressure washer wand on these wheels, man. I just roll that wheel around and it just does its thing.
Wow. Is it a big compressor?
Well, it's, I think, 2,700 PSI, I think.
What kind of motor, electric or gasoline?
That's gas.
My son's got one that will cut a piece of steel in half. That's scary.
Yes, sir. We use a medium nozzle on it. Work it about 6 inches away. It does about a 6-inch wide swath as you just roll this thing down.
Jimmy, have you heard of anybody ever cleaning their bleaching their deck out 2 weeks later when it's 95 degrees outside, low humidity, going out with 5-gallon buckets of polyurethane and stain, and I mean wrapping the whole deck up with it?
Oh, roger that. Well, let me see if anybody's out there needs some help. Hang on just a minute. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Anybody out there got a radio they want to check out?
Anybody out there got a radio they want to check out? K1TL, give him a shout. Clear.
Who was that said clear?
Too many people in the theater. The theater's packed with Who was that said clear? And they all want to listen to the show, and they snuck their popcorn in and their drinks in to the back door, and as soon as we get done talking, they'll be leaving without paying their admission. And the fruit stand, or whatever you call that thing up there, concession stand, over?
Hey, I'm copying you up on Milford. You sound pretty good up there. Hey, how about it? Anybody got a radio they want to check out?
Up there. Hey, how about it? Anybody got a radio they want to check out? Somebody. Got a copy on South Carolina.
Copy. Somebody down in South Carolina. South Carolina station, come back with the call sign.
Somebody down in South Carolina. South Carolina station, come back with the call sign. Hey,
Gosh, come on up on that microphone and try it again. I did not have a good copy on you.
Come up on that microphone and try it again. I did not have a good copy on you.
Kilo 4 Charlie Sierra, is that a Roger?
Kilo 4 Charlie Sierra, is that a Roger?
Charlie Sierra station, I think you might be off frequency somewhere on 7188. Check your VFO. We're on 7188.000, Roger.
VFO, we're on 7188.000, Roger. Well, I gotta know what it's, we got a little frequency shift on it. Let me go down a couple.
me now?
It's a little high, I think, but I can copy you in better than when you were low. You were right at that awkward frequency low that was bending words in half. So what's the name there? Low that was bending words in half. So what's the name there?
Kilo Zulu 4, Charles Sierra. Kilo Zulu 4, Charles Sierra.
Yes, sir. What's the name? Yes, sir. What's the name?
Dave. Dave, Central South Carolina. How y'all are doing?
Yes, sir, Dave. And what radio are you running today, sir? Yes, sir, Dave. And what radio are you running today, sir?
We got an old J2747 just trying to get the cobwebs out of it. Heard you offering a hand there. We're putting out maybe about 40 watts.
Roger, Dave. Okay, why don't you tell me about your antenna system for about 10 or 15 seconds, and let me look around and find another path for us if I can, Roger? And let me look around and find another path for us if I can, Roger?
Hey, Roger. Total emitter on it is about 25 feet, I believe. So we go through the bands and got a couple of air balloons on her, and we can kind of sweep through without a whole lot of tuning, Roger.
Yes, sir. Is there any particular reason that you're running 50 watts, Roger? Is that all that radio can do, or what? 50 watts, Roger. Is that all that radio can do, or what?
Yeah, it's about all it's comfortable getting out the way I'm running it. I'm not tuning it at all, so we're kind of picking and choosing between our own there, Roger.
Roger. Well, I'm running 4 or 5 internet SDRs. I only have a copy on one of my SDRs, and you're only about 2 clicks above their noise level. So I was just hoping that maybe we could get a little more oomph out of the transmitter there, so I could get a better copy on you. But I'm doing the best I can, Roger, with that 50 watts of yours. I'm doing the best I can, Roger, with that 50 watts of yours.
Hey, Roger. Well, let me see what I got here. Well, I got about 50. I was just trying not to trip. I got a trip out on my SWR. I'm not long into this. Like I say, I'm still learning the ropes and don't really want to inconvenience anybody. I'm still trying to figure things out. But I got a nice Henry shelf model for my HF. When I do get on in there, I'll probably put it on the vertical.
Yes, sir, Dave. Well, gosh, it sounds all right. From what I can hear of it, it sounds all right. Of course, I can't hear much of it, but then maybe 100 watts wouldn't make much difference. But then again, it would be a little bit better than 50 watts. You'd be doubling your power. So 3S units in my favor as far as listening to you, Roger. In my favor as far as listening to you, Roger.
Well, that sounds good. I appreciate the flowers there. And like I say, we're not trying too hard. Just got my license at the beginning of the year, and I think your partner's about right. Don't know all the ins and outs yet, but we're working for it.
Yes, sir. Well, you'll find out that life is really difficult enough with 100 watts, let alone 50 watts. And, I can appreciate folks running QRP, but it sure is very difficult sometimes copying the mail. What can I sit back and say? Maybe conditions will get good and I'll be able to hear you some year. But right now, just like I say, I've got 4 Internet SDR locations from New York down to Georgia, so I'm pretty well covered on the eastern part of the United States, and you're not really too loud. I've only got the copy on you on the Milford PASDR, and you're only about 2 clicks over there. So, but if you want to hear what you're sounding like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the followed by the word QSO, followed by the word logbook, we'll get it right. Then it'll bring up this recording. So that's go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, and that'll bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger. 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger.
Hey, Roger. What are you using Skywave to pull that?
No, sir, I'm using internet. These are internet SDRs. They're located New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Virginia, and Kentucky, sometimes down in Florida. These are all internet SDR locations where I can get closer to those folks that are not getting out too well. Roger? Closer to those folks that are not getting out too well. Roger?
He's transmitting 100 times better than his receiver, over. Well, thanks for them flowers, QSL. Skywave Linux has an operating system that cues in the SDR, Roger.
Yes, sir. Well, I just use my tuned dipole antenna for my transmitter always for the last 6 years, but I do move my antenna listening position around through internet SDR locations. Roger. Position around through internet SDR locations. Roger.
Hey, Roger that. Yeah, if you can get it over the air, that's wonderful. They got the operating systems where you can pull all that right offline, Roger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a Roger. Well, you sounded pretty good for what you got there, so I hope you enjoy your recording, sir. And let me say 73 to you. I didn't get that call line real clear, so come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically, please. Clear, so come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically, please.
Kilo, Zulu, 4, Charlie, Sierra.
Kilo Zulu 4 Charlie Sierra, is that a Roger?
Kilo Zulu 4 Charlie Sierra, is that a Roger?
Well, I got it now. All right, it'll be one for the books. Took long enough, but I got it. So let me say 73 to you, sir, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. Beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you.
Well, thank you for the offer for the little radio check here, and definitely enjoyed the QSO, and we'll be listening in, and going to wish y'all top of the evening. 73.
Roger, Dave, 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Hello, Elmer, you still there?
Little splish, Jimmy.
I'm sorry, sir. Let me get back to my local antenna. Go ahead. Back on my local antenna there.
I said, are you busting it up into little short takes for the audio?
No, not right at the moment. I'm taking a long take, and then I'll cut it up in editing, Roger.
Roger on splitting. Do you have Audacity? Is that what you're doing? And are you using one computer with all the 8 SDRs? That's what I'm doing.
No, I have separate SDR receivers, Roger.
Wow. Now, you know, I've got some iPhones somewhere. If I can find them, you can run it on your internet through them without the phone being activated. You aware of that?
Let's see, these are IPOs and separate front ends, Roger.
Jimmy, carry on with the show. I've got to give my dog some attention. I'll be right back. November 9, Golf Tango Oscar.
Roger, Lou, 73, sir. They catch you later. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Here's somebody back in there. Whoever it was, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign. Whoever it was, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Delta something. Come back one more time with the whole call sign once again.
Delta something. Come back one more time with the whole call sign once again.
India Tango, is that a roger?
India Tango, is that a roger?
Well, I get the Delta, and then there's something, and then there's Tango. So I'm missing that missing letter in the middle. Give me that missing letter in the middle, Roger.
In the middle. Give me that missing letter in the middle, Roger.
Uniform! Yay! This is like The Price is Right. What's the name there?
Hey, this is like The Price is Right. What's the name there?
Juliet India Mike, Roger, Roger, and where are you located, sir?
Juliet India Mike, Roger, Roger, and where are you located, sir?
Western Maryland there. USL, where are you at?
We're down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the mighty Ohio, right at Louisville, Roger.
Side of the mighty Ohio, right at Louisville, Roger.
Okay, so Jim, why don't you give me about 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, Roger, and I'll see if I can find a better path for us.
Your antenna system, Roger, and I'll see if I can find a better path for us.
Center-fed dipole in the pine trees about 50 feet in the air.
Roger, I got you on my Kentucky antenna, my Kentucky SDR, pretty well. So what radio is that you're running?
And running about 90 watts into the homebrew.
So what's your total output?
It is about 84 watts there total.
So what do you... So you're driving your radio with a homebrew and you're coming out with 80 watts. What are you going in with?
Just a stock radio, no amplifier at all.
Okay, so I thought you said homebrew or something. I thought you were talking about a power amp.
The homebrew center-fed, Billbone antennas.
I got you. And what's your normal SWR without an antenna tuner?
This here, 1-to-1, about 1-to-1, right on 1-to-1.
Roger, Roger. I just, I've been around the corner a few times here on my SDRs, and I only had one location that I had a fairly decent copy, but that was only a couple of decibels above my noise level, Roger.
What kind of noise level do you have down there?
Not much, but I'm going through, I'm running 5 internet SDR locations around the southeastern part of the United States, from New York to Georgia, and the only copy I got is around my Kentucky SDR. So I'm not really sure. That sometimes that's the advantage I think of running in the transmit that we're running. The antenna is a tuned dipole antenna, which I think is one of the greatest antennas in the world. No SWR, power to the wire. Roger, Roger.
Roger. She's definitely a 1-to-1 there. I've kind of built a lot of them, but almost nothing. Just a little bit of static in the background. That's my
Roger that. Well, gosh, I wish I could get my my Georgia SDR. Sometimes I can get better on my Georgia SDR than anywhere else. Or Simmons Island does pretty well. I see if I can get back into Simmons Island. Sometimes I've already been in there once today, and sometimes they don't like to see you come in again. And then I have a Virginia SDR, which is not coming up well. And then I have a Washington, D.C. SDR, which maybe that might be coming in. Come on back and let me hear you on my Washington SDR, Roger.
Come on back, Roger.
Close to me.
No, nothing on my Washington, but I did have some copy on my local antenna. So, gosh, I didn't have that earlier, so I do now. That radio is TS890. Is that a newer radio or an older radio?
That's a new one. It's
The Daddy Bear.
2 years old.
Roger. So you want to be sure that that's operating in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. That'll give that transmitter the best opportunity to perform at its maximum. That's 100 to 2900, Roger. It gives you that best opportunity to sound like $1 million, and then gives you just a slice of daylight to keep you winding up in somebody else's conversation, Roger.
Yes, sir, reading. It sounds real good there. Talk along with the equipment. I've flicked around. I got a bunch of different radios here that I use, but I've been working on this one here and getting used to it. I get used to one radio and then switch over to another one. I usually leave the settings alone, and I've had a lot of fun with this one so far.
Roger. Well, we do have a setup procedure if you'd be interested. Once you verify that you're in that wide transmit bandwidth, then move to your compressor processor, and we want a 3 on and add a 3, or out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on your compressor processor labeling, and then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, that word generates many multi-frequency sounds, so you become a human test generator, and as you say that word, adjust your mic level until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Roger. There is absolutely no processor at all.
Do not have a processor. How about a compressor?
Okay, let's go to processor.
The 890 has everything.
A little bit below halfway.
Roger. You're talking about your ALC?
Yes, sir, ALC is a little bit below halfway.
Well, why would you run it there when you should be running it at 2/3 level? And that's what I was talking about, setting an ALC level. If you say audio, spoken as you would speak any other word in a QSO, adjust your mic level until your ALC is running 2/3. That means that your ALC needle pointing to the right of metal, not below. Roger?
Roger. Well, we'll give it a try there and see how it goes there. But kind of watching the meters here right now, it looks pretty good.
Yes, sir. Well, we gave it a shot, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Roger.
Roger. Thanks for the info. 73. Good talking to you. What was your first name again?
Name is Jim. Juliet India Mike. Roger.
Roger. Jim's a Jim. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You have a great weekend. 73. Thanks a lot.
Roger. Go ahead, Lou.
No, somebody's whistling. Pick him up.
I don't answer whistles. I'm not a dog.
I didn't think you were. The gentleman out there, the frequency in use, but would you like to get in there and get an audio check? Please do. Well, Jimmy, no takers. N9GTO for ID at 4:38 p.m. on Friday, 6/28 of 2004. You're listening to the KC9VKV Vlog audio test.
Actually, it's the Qso-Vlog net. And we're Trying to find folks that might be interested in getting their radios set up. If they had a radio that they wanted to check out, give us a shout. UFO, W2UFO, and what's the name?
Yeah, name here is Mark, located in North Carolina, about 21 miles south of the Virginia border, outside of Greensboro, in a small rural town called Stokesdale. You got a good signal, about 5'9", into North Carolina, and the name is Mark. Over.
Roger, Mark, why don't you give me about 15 seconds, tell me about your antenna system, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'm running a...
For us, Roger.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'm running a Kenwood TS590FG. So fiddling with it, getting used to it. I just recently got it. So I've been playing with it, still trying to figure out where all the controls are, but did spend some time with a friend of mine and set it up, and it seems to be working well, pushing about a kilowatt to a loop antenna, and that antenna is not that high off the ground at the moment, just kind of in a test mode with it, but all seems to be good, about 265 feet in a triangle configuration. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, normally we go through a whole setup procedure, but what is your mic gain at the moment, say? What's your mic level setting at the moment?
What's your mic level setting at the moment?
Well, the ALC is sitting at about between around 3/4. The compression level, do I have the compression on? The compression's on. Run about 15 dB of compression, and everything seems to be where it should be. Reports I've been getting have been pretty good. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, I was just asking on your mic level. I think you could come up maybe 10 clicks on your mic level because your dynamic range looks to be about 5 dB, and we're looking for about 3 dB, which would really make you a lot louder.
3 dB, which would really make you a lot louder.
Okay, your processor and hold the processor button on, and you should be able to go in there and turn your input on that radio for your input gain rather than the output gain. Input gain will make you give a little bit more robust audio on the Kenwood. KB9UMI.
Sir, this is a control net. I don't know what you're doing there, but, this is a control net. Roger, I appreciate it.
This is a control net. Roger, I appreciate it.
The gentleman does not have, it could be louder if he would just pump up just a little bit, maybe 10 clicks or 5 clicks from where he was.
Pump up just a little bit, maybe 10 clicks or 5 clicks from where he was.
Yeah, I'll have to look into this again. Like I said, I'm learning the radio, and I'm still trying. You got to realize I came off an old Kenwood 940, so this radio is light years ahead of it. Over.
Yes, sir. You sound a lot fuller there, for sure. We won't go into EQ because, you sound close enough. If you want to hear your audio, particularly since, I got a lot better copy on you now. If you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will bring you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
I appreciate that. I'll check that out.
All righty. Well, there may be some other stations in there, so I don't want to be a radio air hog here. And nice talking with you. Nice meeting you. Your signal is very good. Like I said, very strong. Audio sounds great. Everything is right on the money. So we'll catch you again. You need to pass me your call because, in all this, I scribbled it down on this piece of paper, and I'm not sure where I got it. Over.
Yes, sir. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That's KC9VKV. And what was yours again?
KC9VKV. And what was yours again?
Yeah, okay, KC9VKV. The call here is Whiskey to Uniform, Florida, Ontario, like unidentified flying object, over.
That's what it was. Unidentified flying object. That's neat. That's what I should be. An unidentified flying object.
Could be. An unidentified flying object.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a little quick rundown and I'll let you pick up the others. Yeah, the history of this call is interesting. This call sign was originally issued to the United States Air Force, the Mitchell Air Force Base on Long Island. And if you look at my QRZ page, you'll see a couple of photographs. And there's some photographs of my dad. One of them has him standing overlooking someone operating, and the other one has him at the station operating. And if you look closely at the logbook that's laying on the table, you'll see it has the call sign W2UFO. When the Air Force Base was decommissioned in 1961, everything went sideways, and that was the end of the radio station. When the vanity program came about, I suggested to my dad, who was a ham at the time, I said, why don't you pick up the call? And he said, well, you can probably outlive me, so why don't you take it? So lo and behold, I applied for the call, got the call, and there it is. I'm carrying on the tradition, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's great. That is an interesting call sign. I would cherish that if I were you, Roger.
Interesting call sign. I would cherish that if I were you, Roger.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes, and it's interesting, I've had people say to me, do you think that when this was originally issued to the military, that time originally was issued to the U.S. Air Corps before it became the Air Force, wondering if at that time, if the government chose that call sign, or was it just randomly given out? It's something there's no way I can really ever tell, over.
Yes, sir. Now, did that have anything to do with the Mars operation?
Sure. Now, did that have anything to do with the Mars operation?
No, not at all. That was, well, they did operate, I don't know, I think they did operate Mars, according to my dad at the time. But but this was their radio room, as you can see from the photographs. All the old Hamiltons and Hallicrafters and Collins equipment. That was their radio room, and they would operate the ham radio station from time to time, over.
Yes, I was just thinking it would be quite unique if it was a Mars operation with a call sign UFO.
Quite unique if it was a Mars operation with a call sign UFO.
Yeah, really. That's funny. I never even thought about that. That's, yeah, it's too bad that there's, although, I might be able to find out, because I'm originally from Long Island, moved down here about 7 years ago. There's somebody I know up in Long Island that's been doing, and we're getting ready to write to release a book. He wrote a book on the history of that Air Force base. And I know the fellow. I have conversations with him once in a while. And I should reach back out to him and see if, I know he put a couple of pictures that I have from that original station that are going to be in that book. But I should do some research. It'd be interesting to find out. I think what I'm going to do is reach out to him and ask him that, over.
Yes, sir. Now, can you imagine being in that station, that military station? You could probably get about any kind of equipment and antenna stuff that you ask for, wouldn't you?
And antenna stuff that you ask for, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. Well, if you look at the photograph, I mean, that would be any ham radio operator's dream. Yeah, I would imagine, and my dad said the same thing. He said that many times, if they needed something, they just filled out a requisition and they got it right away. So, God knows what they had, and I'm sure that most of the equipment they were running at that time was state of the art, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, I was just thinking maybe a little bit different subject matter than what we were talking about, but, that missing airliner that went missing from wherever it was, I forget, India and somewhere to China, they were listening to phase phasing of, I guess it was a UHF or VHF onboard transmitters somehow, and they could tell by the phasing exactly what was happening with that when that airplane went through this signal. Roger, it wasn't the transmitter wasn't on the plane, but somebody was recording the frequency spectrum, and they could see the oscillations start to come and go as that plane traversed through those radio waves. Roger?
And go as that plane traversed through those radio waves. Roger?
Yeah, it's quite interesting when you think about it. And of course, there's a lot, there's a lot that's probably never been shared about all that. But in fact, it's funny because about a week ago, I was flipping through the TV channels, and I came across, I think National Geographic was playing had a program on that flight and some of the information. It was really kind of wild, but it's just it's weird stuff. It's I used to live when I lived on Long Island. I lived near Grumman, and I could tell you I was about maybe 3-4 miles from Grumman, and there would be times when you would go to get on the radio, and there was nothing on the ham bands, nothing but white noise on the frequency. And I remember at one point, this was going on for a while, and I had contacted the FCC, and I said, there's something weird going on. And they sent a crew out to my house. We checked it, and they happened to be there when that happened. And then they went away, and they did whatever they did, and I didn't hear back from them. And when I followed up, they came back and said that apparently there's nothing going on, and that it must have been a malfunction of my equipment. But I have a feeling that the military, Grumman was doing all kinds of crazy testing, because you used to see the E-2 Hawkeyes and all the planes coming in, all the fighter jets and the crazy aircraft that you normally wouldn't see just floating around the area. And so who knows what was going on there, over?
Yes, sir. I live close to an airfield or airport where UPS has a hub, and they have probably about 80 or so aircraft that come in and go out each morning, and I can tell when one passes through just by the disturbance that it causes. I'm copying the mail, say, on a repeater down maybe 200 miles away, and got a pretty good copy. And then when one of those planes flies across the path of that repeater station, it sets up an oscillation, and it verifies that that plane may be 4,000 feet high, but it still causes a wave oscillation as it passes through that transmission field. Roger?
Oscillation as it passes through that transmission field. Roger?
Yeah, it's really kind of crazy. A good friend of mine unfortunately passed away a couple years back. K2RIW. I don't know if you know Dick Nadel or ever heard of him, but he used to do a lot of high experimental work, and he worked for AIL up on Long Island. He was also involved in the Star Wars program. When at that time it was very secretive in that, and they never really talked much about it. But he talked about some of he used to talk at a very general level. The high level kind of just public information that could be given out. And it was always interesting to hear, because Long Island, of course, was the real hotbed for military and aviation development. So you had a lot of companies up there working on some very, very sophisticated equipment, and it's wild. Reminds me, I was on a motorcycle trip out in New Mexico, and I was near White Sands Missile Base. And there's a stretch of the roadway that runs near it, and they got this big traffic sign, with lights on it. So when the lights are flashing, you have to wait in this rest area. So I was sitting around for probably about 40 minutes, and I said, this is nuts. I'm not waiting anymore because it's getting late. Well, I start going down the road, go about half a mile, and out of no place comes 2 Jeeps, fully armed, loaded up with soldiers with automatic weapons. Stopped me, want to know where I'm going, and I told them, and they actually escorted me back to the rest area and wanted to see my ID and that, and wanted to know why I didn't pay attention to the sign. So you wonder what some of the stuff they're testing in those areas, over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, you know, they used to talk about that Blackbird doing a Mach 3, you know, and then the successor. Well, they never said much more about Mach 3, but I understand it was Mach 6 to 8, Mach 6 to Mach 8 that the successor to the Blackbird did.
Mach 6 to Mach 8 that the successor to the Blackbird did.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And it's funny because when I got back to the rest area, you could hear what appeared to be like a rocket. You could hear rumbling, but couldn't see anything. So, you know, I know people always talk about UFOs and things of that sort, but, you know, the technology of what they let us see is one thing, and of course the technology that we're not aware of is always, I can imagine the levels and you know, where they've reached. So, it's just kind of amazing. Well, anyway, listen, I'm going to let you run. I know there's a net going on here, and thank you so much for spending the time and yakking with me. I appreciate it. Really enjoyed this, and we'll look for you another time. Have a pleasant evening coming up, and we'll see you down the road, I'm sure, as they say. KC9VKV W2UFO.
Roger, Mark. What will your power out be at the moment?
Roger, Mark. What will your power out be at the moment?
I'm running about, looks like about a kilowatt, over.
Yes, sir, about the same here. Beautiful signal. And if you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Series of 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm going to definitely do that. Okay, well, again, thank you very much for taking the time. And enjoyed the chat here. It's always nice to have fun conversations like this. I get a big kick out of it. So with that, I'm going to time to take the dog out, do his business, and then start thinking about dinner. Have a very pleasant day, and enjoy the rest of the weekend coming up. KC9VKV, W2 UFO, North Carolina.
Roger, Mark 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by, and if you get a chance to join us next Friday, we'd love to have you. And we got about time for one more. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
About time for one more. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Yeah, Kilo Bravo 9, Uniform Mike India.
Uniform Mike India, Roger. What's the name there?
Yeah, name is Mark, located in Huntington, Indiana. We've talked before, been a while, but anyways. Yeah, the band changed around there. I don't know if you're switching antennas or not, but I know the guy, the 2 call there, UFO, he went down on me here, at least locally. So the band's shortening up as the evening goes, but it's just probably just moving around. Over.
Yeah, it could be. He came up to me and stayed up for the whole conversation, latter half of the conversation. Now, I'm looking at your audio, bud. You are wall-to-wall frequency response-wise on your curve, Roger.
Yeah, I've got it turned up. I've got it. The emphasis on hard. So yeah, running a TSA 90, and I've got the 17-band parametric EQ set up on this setting here. But yeah, just right. Yeah, it's and you're close to me, so
yeah, it's and you're close to me, so we can probably go down to there. That would probably be more to your liking. If I was bumping your speaker, over.
Yes, sir. Well, I went to my Kentucky SDR, and those things are notorious for rolling out the bottom end of about 250 cycles. My local antenna kind of faded out, so I went to my Kentucky SDR. Much better copy there, but not nearly the bottom end that my 7300 was copying you, Roger.
The bottom end that my 7300 was copying you, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, yeah. No, I have my bottom end is running lower than that. I run my low cut down at 10, and my high cut is set at 3, as it's set at 3K. So, yeah, no, that's on the transmit audio, and then it's adjusted around accordingly.
Yes, sir. Just beautiful, just beautiful. Why don't you give me about 15 seconds and get a good recording of you? Tell me about the best thing you like about your radio, Roger.
Tell me about the best thing you like about your radio, Roger.
Oh, well, I like the best thing about the TS-890 is probably the ability to take noises out of the receiver even without an external speaker. It does a phenomenal job. In fact, out of the box, I compared it to the FT101MP, and out of the box without an external speaker, the 890 won both ways, with and without. KB9, you don't mind?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're running outboard monitor system with a subwoofer, so we get down to about 50 cycles, and we are running that 7300, so we're down to 100 cycles on that 7300, and we're running just as clean as we can. No filtering or noise reduction or any of that stuff. And when I had a copy on you on that, you were just wall to wall. I've got a spectrum analyzer on the set, and I saw activity down to 25 cycles.
On the set, and I saw activity down to 25 cycles.
Okay, yeah, and that would probably go, though the piece has a lot of cutoff to it, so, but yeah, with the radio, letting the radio float down there, it'll let it go out, but yeah, very good. So where are you exactly located at? And I don't remember catching your name. I remember talking to you before, but I forget the name. Over.
Roger, name is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, and we're down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Roger.
On the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville, Roger.
All right, real good, real good. I used to drop a guy off there on the way back through when I was crew leader for a bunch of roughnecks there. I had a guy that lived just north of the river there. I drop him off all the time. And it was, it was surprising the distinct difference in people and everything else from between south of the river and north of the river, and that's all I'll say.
Well, I'm north of the river, so I guess I'm what? But what are roughnecks? What were you doing?
I guess I'm what? But what are roughnecks? What were you doing?
Oh, it's construction work. I had anywhere from 1 or 2 guys to 20, 30 guys on a construction crew travel around the country. Over.
Oh, Roger that. Well, I wasn't exactly sure what you were referring to there, Roger.
I wasn't exactly sure what you were referring to there, Roger.
Yeah, no, I had a bunch of roughnecks around the country there, several different jobs. I had to be with guys, big construction crews. Yeah, I consider roughnecks guys that travel the country and work out on the road, and whether they work at heights or whatever. Usually guys that work at heights and work in dangerous situations I call considered roughnecks. I was always on the construction end of it, and if somebody had to go up high, I was always on that crew.
Yes, sir. Now, would you have had anything to do with some of the buildings down in Florida?
Now, would you have had anything to do with some of the buildings down in Florida?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
All righty, I was just checking, those things, they're not super tall, but some are like maybe 10 floors, 15 floors, something like that, Roger.
Like maybe 10 floors, 15 floors, something like that, Roger.
Yeah. No, early on my career was working on, we would cut roofs inside petroleum tanks, and we were building internal floating roof covers inside of gasoline, alcohol, and oil petroleum storage tanks, even on the Colonial Pipeline, the pipeline transportation system. They would go in and on those, and they'd paint epoxy like 20 feet up on the walls, and we'd go in and build a roof. Yeah, it usually ended to be about 5 to 6 feet off the ground. We'd usually build them right there about 48 inches, right around 48, 50 inches off the ground, so it's right at chest height, so you could build everything. And then we had the legs on, we'd build them, and then we'd extend them up on these great big symbols, and the panels, they made them several different style of roofs. Some of them were skin and pontoons. Some of them were in oil water separator bays. It just depended where we were at. But yeah, I worked in the petroleum industry for quite a while. Did other things like that. Also worked in the pool industry. That was real fun.
Roger, so I guess that was a good time to give up smoking, Roger.
Roger, so I guess that was a good time to give up smoking, Roger.
No, you was nothing like that going on in there. No, they were completely empty when we were in them. Don't get in there. No, they were completely empty. We would build the roofs in them. Some of the other guys that go on the repair crews, but if they had the repair job, that wasn't one of my deals. I didn't volunteer for that. I didn't like gasoline on me or oil, and when you went, you get covered in it. That was a nasty one. That was hazard pay. You got paid a lot more, but I was like, no thanks.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah. Things are tough enough already without, smoking and gasoline and all that stuff. Well, listen, Mark, you're sounding really good. I hope you enjoy your recording. If you go to YouTube, do that call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook, and it'll bring you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger?
Recording, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger?
Alrighty, real good, Jim. I'll tell you what, I liked doing the roughneck stuff, but most of the time I was a maintenance man or an electrician in a factory or in a business somewhere. But I'll tell you what, I kind of ended up traveling the road doing the electrician and construction, mechanic, technician, at the end, just because, like again, I spent 6 months out of Tesla in California in 2017, just because there was an opportunity to do it. But I really liked the traveling part because you didn't stay at a job long enough. 6 months and you were over it. You didn't get there long enough to not to like your job anymore. You get to move around, a new set of circumstances, new people. It was easy not to get bored that way too.
Roger. So then you would come back to Indiana, is that a Roger?
Get out of your hair, Jim, and let you carry on, get the guys going, and we'll talk to you next time. KB9VKV, KB9 UMI.
Roger, Mark. 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. And with that being said, we are running out of time here, so we're taking this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, and we will be clear.
Vlog network, and we will be clear.
Oh, you going to talk to me afterwards or shut me down?
Well, I'm talking at you, sir. Let me get back on my local antenna. Go ahead.
All right, what's going on? Did you enjoy your vlog? I see that one 4 months ago. I was hacked by Chrome. Chrome had hacked me. So you might want to think about that. I was hacked by Chrome. Chrome kept making the speed of the videos like you were... That was not good. What say you, Jim, first?
Well, I've never experienced that. I'm not really sure, where that would occur. So you're good going in, and then after you get to YouTube, it's garbage?
Yeah. It's something to do with my ad blocker. Getting ready to check it now. Oh, there you are. I got rid of it. It was hijacking my computer. By the way, I had somebody hijack my Facebook, and it pointed back that they were out in Jefferson County. I could not believe it that they did it, but they did hack it. I got it taken care of, though.
Yes, sir. Facebook, I'm not, I don't know nothing about Facebook.
They hacked my IP address and went in as if it was me, because my passwords are saved. They're not saved now. I have to enter them in every time.
Yes, sir. Well, gosh, there's always somebody trying to cause trouble.
Jim, I've got a question for you. Do you remember years ago I told you that my sewer line was made out of 4-inch copper tubing all the way to the street? And when these kids were very young, they were known to flush paper towels down the toilet.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know I got rid of that problem, don't you?
I'm not real sure.
Well, I told you to.
What's that?
Bottles of Dawn dishwashing liquid.
I have seen a couple of references to folks pulling old tires through their drains to kind of flush them out, Roger. They would just grapple old tires, chain them through.
Yeah, you can take an old car, a lawnmower tire on the back of a John Deere, and they've had to do that before underneath the driveway around the corner of the farmhouse.
Yeah, it does a good job. Boy, if the big plug come out when that tire come out.
Oh, you had it done too?
No, I just seen it on YouTube.
Well, you got me hooked on these SDRs. I have 6 of them up at a time. What I need you to do is I need you. Oh boy, I gotta turn this down. Oh, somebody's got lightning in there, and you're listening to them. You look a lot better on screen than you do in person. How do you do that, Jim?
It's magic.
Magic?
Yes, sir.
I believe it. Do you have to put makeup on too?
No, just a bottle of Muscatel.
You got that hair slick back. You got those readers on. You know, I had to drive all the way in to buy new readers today. I have special readers I have to use. And they told me they can get them made at wherever it was, Vision Works or whatever. Jesse James Robbery. $69 for a pair of readers.
Yeah, you should check HSN, man. They have bunches. I get a bunch at 300, a bunch at 350, and a bunch at 400. So I'm loaded for bar.
Jimmy, my left eye is worse than my right. So got some issues there, so I have to have them custom made.
Yeah, so mine probably are too. I'm using a magnifying glass sometimes. I have this video recording thing has a bunch of normal throughs that I have to change, and I've missed them from time to time, and there goes the neighborhood. If you don't have the audio switched from what it normally was to what it should be, then you lose your audio, and that's not a good thing when this is a whole thing based on audio. So I double check with a magnifying glass just to be sure that I'm in the right place, Roger.
Yeah, I got guys bugging me to death on mini splits. My son, part-time, does heating and air now, my older son. Zach works for the NSA, and Jake, he's a technician out at UPS at night. No, during the mornings. In the afternoons, him and his friends, they started an air conditioning business with all my old truck and my old Pittsburgh brake and my shears, and they don't have to make their own sheet metal. Ted Shape does that over in Louisville. So they just go out and install these mini splits in, like we got at the farm. Electric bill went from $289 to $98 a month for the last 3 years.
Yes, sir. Now, you're just running one mini split?
Running two 12,000 BTUs, 1,100 square foot home. One in the radio room, which I set it on 3, and one in the living room, which I set it on 75. He's got congestive heart failure. He really gets weird on me when I use the radio. He won't turn one on. He won't turn one off. He's not allowed to be he told me he's not allowed to be around a running engine with alternator. I don't know what to believe. Forgy up in Indianapolis has got everything known to man in him, and he's running a 10,000 watt broadcast transmitter.
Yes, sir. Well, I found that the old CB field strength meter tells the whole story about floating RF. If you're in doubt about what kind of field you're in, that little field strength meter just does wonders, Roger.
Thank you, Jimmy. I'm going to hook up an antenna and disconnect the meter and show him that it works.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just put you about 6 inches on that field strength meter antenna. That's about all you need there, and then you just dial it up to whatever, and you can come right off the if you're running a PA, you can come right off the area around the PA and start moving away from it, and you can just see that RF level dropping way down. And then also when you trespass along a coax line that might be running a KW signal, you can copy the mail on that field strength meter, Roger.
Jimmy, you're not going to believe it took me 1 day to do this. I thought it was going to take me longer. I had to pull a permit on it, which was $40. I changed the service at the farmhouse from a 60 amp to 200 amp. I've got 2 pieces of 1.25 inch going up to the old panel, backfeeding everything out of the old fuse panel. That's my junction box. Ran a 60 amp range, a 30 amp water heater, 30 amp dryer, and a single 120 on the washer. Dedicated breaker for the radio room on 20 amp, 12.2 with ground. Everything known to man. We just had new windows put in about 10 years ago. Now, the paint is not doing good. We bought this paint for $48 a gallon at Lowe's, and it was guaranteed for life. Well, we got paint coming off the side of the house. Either it's put on too thick, or we just blast it with a blaster and have it repainted. Probably go to the over Discrepancy's house and pick up a few electricians and a few plumbers and a few painters and let them go over.
Yeah, Roger. There's lots to be said for stain. Stain is pretty durable, Roger.
Well, when you do the thing, you talking about on the house, asbestos siding?
Well, no. Well, I don't know. Usually wood, and if you can, get the wood in condition and stain it, it's good for probably about 15 years. Wow. Well,
we're polyurethane and everything up here. We're just going to polyurethane it. High traffic areas, we'll put some. We're just going to polyurethane areas. We'll put some kind of thing on there. By the way, mode is 648.16 megabits per second. My upload is 632.47, and my ping is 8, and my something's 12. That's going through the hub at International Louisville. I won't say my IP address, through mainstream fiber networks. We're on fiber network, by the way, up here.
Yes, sir, Roger. Same way down here. I just have a minimum service, about 370 up and down.
You're on cable?
No, fiber optics. But, we're just minimum service on fiber optics at 370 up and down. It's plenty enough for me.
Well, I have Starlink with the Young Muscle. It's $112 a month. When we go to the lake and stay up at the houseboat, we stay up there. I stay from Friday to Sunday. That's why I run my remote through my watch and my iPhone. I can key the remote up with the On9 or the Flex and the LDMOS. I mean, I'm running a boatload of watts up there. He don't know it. He doesn't feel anything. But if I tell him to turn something on, I'm not getting around that stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like psychological to me.
It is, and I'm having to pay the price for it because he was the man behind, the whole 9 yards. He really was. There was nothing he wouldn't do for me other than give me a hug or tell me he loves me. Can't do it. That's just a narcissistic that he is.
Roger, your audio's sounding good, not to change the subject there. What do I look like on my skirts? Should look pretty clean, Roger.
You're very clean, Jim. I'm monitoring you on a 42-inch screen. You're at 3.1% in transmit, and unbelievable. 3.1. How you're doing that out of a rig that cannot pass? I'm telling you, the amp is making things a little more wider. Over?
Yeah, well, this is a 7300 today. Running that's 7300 today, Roger.
It's your amp. The 990, you're transmitting 3.5 watt. You're transmitting in the range of 3.1 or 2.3. The amplifier is not running AB1. It's running AB2, close to C class.
Roger. Now, if I'm giving you 20 over, put the attenuator on.
I've got it on now. It's on 30 with the attenuator.
Bring it on down to about 20 over and see what my sidebands do.
I'm looking. Everything is still 3.1.
Roger, should be less than that. I'm trying to get you out of overload there. Bring it down to about 15 over, and we should be under 3.
You want me to? Is it me you want me to back away from, or you?
Me. My transmit. I want you to look at my transmit sides, and I should be less than 3. Audio check.
Amp is pushing you further away than you may not want to believe it, but without the amp, you're 2.9. With the amp, you're 3.1.
I haven't been without the amp. I've always been with the amp on.
You're 3.1, sir. I love how it sounds. Broadcasting at its best.
Roger. Okay, I got to get out of here, sir. Good to hear you.
Well, what you need to do is call me. See, I don't have your number. Magic Jack, I leave numbers. I'm tempted to come by and kidnap you. I got a feeling that my girlfriend over there would allow it. What say you?
Well, I'm not real sure. I guess so. She keeps telling me to get out. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Well, I'll just have to take you up to the farm and put you in the back 30 by 40. It's all ready. It's got the heating and air. It's got, by the way, it has 2 3-ton mini splits for 30 by 40. The floors are insulated. The walls are insulated. Drywall's up. The ceiling has pole barn metal on it. It got blown in fiberglass insulation. There's several really nice lights hanging down. 2-bedroom and all nothing but a radio room. What say you?
All right, sir. Sounds good. I'll catch you later. Roger, roger.
Around the street. You don't want it. I mean, she made it clear. You're the only one can come around. Now, you're not writing a recording on this, are you?
I are, but we doubled the last time. I just caught the last half. But I got to get out of here, Lou.
Roger, 73s and 9 GTO clear.
Roger, roger. Sounding good. On that 7300. So you have a good afternoon, bud, and catch me later. 73 KC9VKV clear.
73, Jim. I really enjoy your company, and you keep the maniac out of the shack. I'll say 73. God bless you and Teresa. I can't wait for Mrs. Hinkle to tell us when we're going to go to dinner. That's something forthcoming, because me and you are not close to being in that grave there. I'm being cremated. Stuff between Lori's legs. That way I'm happy. 73s and 9 GTO, the maniacs in the shack.
Roger, roger. Tell Lori hello. Catch you later. We're clear.
By the way, tell Teresa if something happens to you, send all that stuff to Goodwill. Just have them to come pick it all up, tire and all.
Catch you later.
Hasta la vista, big guy. November 9, Golf Tango Oscars clear.
Adios, muchachos.
Poco Benoche.
Arrivederci.
You're good at that.
Another minute or so from NA3P for a quick audio check. Over.
Go ahead, Jim. Take him.
NA-P3, is that Roger?
Is that Roger?
Yeah, NA3P, Jim, you have helped me out with the radios in the past, but this is a different radio here. ICOM 7100, I think I've got it set up pretty good, but how do I sound on your end, over?
All right, why don't you give me a little bit audio-wise, about 15 seconds on your antenna, and let me look around real quick and see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Your antenna. Let me look around real quick and see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Roger. This is November in Culpeper, Virginia. Dick is the name, and I am running an ICOM 7100 barefoot to an end-fed wire by myantennas.com, and I have pretty much the settings you normally recommend for radios, but I've never had you check this one on your scopes there, over.
Yes, sir. Okay, what was the name? Dick, and where were you? Where's your location?
Okay, what was the name? Dick, and where were you? Where's your location?
Dick in Culpeper, Virginia. Dick in Culpeper, Virginia, over.
Okay, Dick, give you the quick course here. Come up on the mic level. Your mic pot, bring it up 10 clicks hotter than what it is.
Your mic pot, bring it up 10 clicks hotter than what it is.
Okay, I'm up a little higher now, a little higher on the mic gain, over.
Yes, sir. What were you and what are you now?
Yes, sir. What were you and what are you now?
I was 50%, and now I'm 60%, and I have 30% on the gain, on the compression. I'm transmit bandwidth wide. I'm running a standard hand mic with this thing, over.
Okay, bring that mic up to the corner of your lips and talk across it. To the corner of your lips, actually touch the corner of your lips and talk across it. Roger?
Yeah, that's pretty much the way I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, Dick, I just lost my Virginia SDR, and I don't think I have a copy on you locally. I'm copying you out of my Kentucky antenna, my Kentucky SDR, roger.
My Kentucky antenna, my Kentucky SDR, roger.
Roger. I'm copying you on my end-fed wire, so I'm talking across the mic like the wire, I'm talking across the mic like you recommend, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're looking really good. I got to get out of here, sir. Maybe next Friday we'll have a little bit better conditions and we can get into the EQ area. Sounds pretty good, though, Roger.
And we can get into the EQ area. Sounds pretty good, though, Roger.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to get a quick check. You don't have to super analyze it, but yeah, the other station was running quite a long time. I was waiting and waiting. I just couldn't get you before you closed. So anyway, 73. Have a great day. This is NA3P.
Roger, Dick, that was my Elmer. We hadn't talked in quite a while, so it was good to have him join me, and we kind of blew the cobwebs out, Roger.
Good to have him join me, and we kind of blew the cobwebs out, Roger.
Yeah, roger that. Well, have a good one. I just got back from a big trip overseas, Philippines, Hawaii, and back, so been back about a week now, but anyway, have a good one, and we'll talk again from NA3P.
Roger, Dick, 73. And yeah, join us next Friday, and we'll compare notes and see what's hot and what's not. And I'll get into your EQ and touch that up just a tad. But your modulation index is a lot better at that higher level. Roger.
Index is a lot better at that higher level. Roger.
Okay, thanks for the advice there. And your friend there broke in, wondered how he's coming in. You're both about the same strength, over.
Yes, sir, but he's running 4 billion watts. He is running 4 billion watts as calculated by the angle to the dangle. Catch you later, Dick. 73, sir.
Catch you later, Dick. 73, sir.
Roger. Well, this is about the only radio I have, and the shack is not connected to a linear, but I just put this back into service. It used to be my mobile rig in my 2004 Nissan Frontier pickup truck, which I sold to my neighbor, and I haven't been able to do anything with it since, so I found a slot in the shack here to reactivate it. Okay, have a good one, Jim. Talk to you again. This is NA3P.
Roger, you would sound a lot better with that power amp on, Roger.
Roger, you would sound a lot better with that power amp on, Roger.
Hey, I tell you what, Jim, you are about the same strength here, over.
Roger. Well, we're running about a kW. Running right at a, well, it's SB220 at about a kW, Roger.
Well, it's SB220 at about a kW, Roger.
You're right on the 9 mark, and your friend there actually might have been a touch over that last transmission, maybe +5. I'm not really sure.
Roger. Well, like I say, he's running 4 billion watts. He's illegal. 4 billion watts, I mean, you know.
4 billion watts. He's illegal. 4 billion watts, I mean, you know.
Legal limit amp, but anyway, that's all I've got. Big, 3 kilowatt model. Yeah, you're right even with Jim there on that one. I didn't think it was but I do fine.
Roger. Well, all my SDRs have run out of time. I've run out of dimes and nickels to keep my my SDRs running, so I got to get out of here. Join me next Friday. Love to have you. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, and we're clear, returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use.
Jimmy, you're 30 over in Georgia, and I'm only 7 or 8 over. You have got me beat by a mile.
Not according to Dick up there. You got me, buddy.
Am I transmitting to the north?
Yeah, apparently so, up in Virginia.
Virginia, Dick? Am I a bigger signal up there than he is?
almost neck and neck. I'm getting 595, 9
Roger, Roger. Yeah, you're 5'7", 5'8" on half, was it, SDR. Let me go down here and turn this off so I don't get too crazy with it. But anyway, I have to get this to mute when I key up, because I'm going to have 5 or 6 receivers running like Jim. And I can put the power out to put the signal out, my receive needs to be better. Over?
Yeah, we'll get you a rotary switch and hook them up on a rotary switch so you can dial them around while you're monitoring.
That's what I'm going to do. My son says I can have up to 10 running because there's 64 gig of RAM with an 8 terabyte hard drive. This thing's like a dragster on steroids. 73 Jim Ferguson, and I thank you up there in the northeast corner for chatting with us. This has been the KC9VKV Vlog program. Lock it in and rip the knob off N9 GTO signing.
We're clear.
You got a bigger signal on the web SDR on MA84A down there. Unbelievable, Jimmy. Unbelievable. Big signal down in the south.
Yeah, my SDR stopped working about 20 minutes ago. I've got 3 of them that run out of time. I run out of dimes and they cut me off.
Jimmy, I have one computer that runs, well, he said it can run 100 of them. I have wireless. I'm going to use the wireless Bose headset they got me here a while back. And they got me an early $300 for a damn thing. I wish they'd stop buying. They bought my wife a new iPad, and they bought me a new laptop, and oh boy. I'll tell you what, Jimmy, I got to show you this satellite thing that Elon Musk is Starlink. $750 for the initial purchase and $89 a month. They just take it right out of the debit card, out of the bank. So it really works unbelievable. I can be on a houseboat and having a blast.
Roger, you need a mute switch, a transmit mute switch to cut your speaker off, regardless of what SDR you're listening to. You need a mute switch when you hit transmit.
Jimmy, you ever go to CCleaner so you clean all your junk up and get rid of all your contaminated history?
CCleaner?
Yes, download CCleaner.com. Don't go nowhere else. And if they ask for money, click on the button, no thanks.
I've been running CCleaner for 20 years.
I've been on the internet since 1996. I used to type hello and take me 20 minutes to get the hello back from the 300 baud server at the library.
Yeah, CCleaner is just amazing. Just cleans the whole house up.
Jimmy, love you guys to death. Tell her I said hello. I'm signing off for this little bit. It's time to me to take this one medication which knocks me out with a broken rib and busted head, which it's kind of hard to hurt this watermelon. 73's God bless. This has been the KC9VKV and the N9 GTO radio show, and we're clear.
Roger, Roger, Lou, 73, sir. Catch you later. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We're clear and returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use.